Hey everyone, welcome back to Optimize Evony. Today there was a dev meeting with some of the top players, and I was in it, so I wanted to kind of give you guys some of the rundown of what was discussed, what wasn't discussed, what kind of Elena's feedback for some of the things that were brought up, and what kind of was not really addressed. So um, yeah, I think I I've been in the last couple feedback dev meetings, um, and to be clear, it's not a dev meeting. It's essentially Elena being acting as a a shield for Evony, or basically like a bunch of people get on a Zoom call and just kind of shit on the game and talk and complain about a whole host of things. I mean, you always have people complaining about dragons, and I can't get Rage King, and uh, All Stars sucked or whatever. And uh, she basically has to sit there and try and take some notes for what can be changed and stuff like that. Uh, this meeting was a little bit different, but very similar in a lot of ways. Basically, um, there were a couple times where people got pretty real and basically said that the game is dying. There's too much of a disparity between kind of the top coiners, the pay to win buffs kind of style versus kind of strategy and kind of allowing grinding players to kind of get to a similar stand as players who have just spent thousands and thousands of dollars, a week, a month, whatever it might be. And so uh, there was not really good feedback there from Elena. Basically, she noted it down, but uh, I don't think that's really going to be addressed. I think unfortunately, they're making a ton of money, and until they're not making a ton of money, basically doing all of the same stuff, they're going to continue to do it. They're gonna. I don't see them really uh, stopping releasing Civ gear. They keep kind of stringing people along, like, oh, like, is this the last set? Is this the last set? And I really don't see them stopping anytime soon, unfortunately. Uh, and so that kind of brings us to the next major topic, which was Civ gear for kind of free to play players. Um, and getting more things like the Taisha's wheel and things for free. And uh, Elena essentially said that there was more methods of getting gear planned, more events, more things like that planned. But when kind of pushed on it, I don't think that it's not coming from bosses. It's not coming from anything that we are expected, kind of expected it to come from. And so I think it's likely going to still be behind a paywall to some extent. So, unfortunately, for free to play players, it still doesn't seem like it's going to be accessible, even though uh, myself and many other players basically stressed this is at this point, like, the people will still coin if you start releasing these things for free. Like, that's not the main thing reason why people want to coin. There's a lot of other things. Basically, it used to be in the case where you could just you could buy packs and things to get things faster. You could simplify, like, having to grind and stuff like that, but you could get everything from grinding. That's no longer the case. because you can't really get these civ gears or anything like that from just grinding. You can't get unlimited tactics scrolls and gold and speeds and stuff like that from just grinding. You can a little bit, but not to the level that people really need. And so, uh, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with the response there. We'll see kind of what they come back with. Basically, the way that this happens, the way that this dev meeting typically goes, is it has all the players get in the room with Elena, uh, you know, discuss all of these things. Then Elena takes it back to the devs or the product managers, whoever's making the decisions on what's actually going to be implemented, what's not going to be implemented, what's what they're considering fixing at all or whatnot. Um, and then they basically come back with feedback and give it back out as uh, kind of with some timelines and stuff like that. I don't think it's super accurate. We've seen a bunch of things kind of come back promising things like a bunch of server merges and increased rewards from Vikings and stuff like that. That unfortunately I haven't really seen yet. Um, so yeah, we'll kind of see what they come back with, but it was not very promising what I heard from Elena in the room. Um, then I think another topic was kind of talking about Vikings adding the hell mode that kind of was tried on some servers for a little bit to give more gold. People need more gold, and yeah. So I don't know. They'll probably release that soon. I don't really anticipate that that's really going to change a lot of things. People really want to be able to exchange research stones for tactic scrolls. I don't really see that happening. She didn't really say anything positive on that. Um, and then talked about Battlefield and kind of having more of a top, more people be able to unlock like Nidhogg, because I know, like I mentioned in my other video, that's really hard for new servers to get because you have to your alliance has to rank in the top 300 overall, and you have to personally place in the top 100 overall over the season of BOC. And that's just kind of absurd for servers that are have like a like 5 or 6 year uh you know delayed start than the people in C1. I actually think it's kind of interesting because I think C1 has a bit of the opposite issue where C1 it's a lot harder to get the All Stars dragons because basically the same players kind of get those over and over again, and uh, the same players go often. I mean, I've been a bunch of times, but have only gotten the dragon once. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little bit easier on some of the newer continents to get into All Stars and to get the dragons and stuff like that because especially at the beginning of continents you don't have to have quite as big of power. You can just heal. You can ghost. You can do a lot more soloing. You don't have to kind of get as lucky with their team and stuff like that. But on C1, we did have the advantage of being able to get Nidhogg before Evony expanded the servers to the thousands. So uh, kind of opposite problems, but they one of the things that was proposed was to have kind of the what I would call like a next man up ranking for Nidhogg for unlocking Wonder 3, basically where all the people who have gotten Nidhogg already are not included in the rankings for that season, and so it makes it a lot more possible to get it for more free to play players, players that are not going to be in the top 100 every single time, because realistically the top 100 is very consistent week in, week out. Like, sure, there's a few people moving up and down, but you have your King Sing, Sir Philip, uh Rhythm, Waggy, like all of JT, all of those kind of accounts are in the top 100, week in, week out. And so for people who, are not 20 billion power, do not have uh, massive accounts, it's very, very difficult to unlock Nidhogg. So uh, I think it's kind of an interesting idea. We'll see if they come back and decide to actually do it or not. I think there was also some feedback on adding more time slots for BOC, also allowing for 25 players instead of 20 players to be able to join, particularly as they merge servers and stuff like that. There's more people in these alliances. You can have 130, 140 people in an alliance. I don't know what the max is at this point, um, but my alliance isn't max, so I think we have 130 people. But yeah, we're not max on that tech. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think having 25 players would be great. I think my alliance wouldn't benefit so much from that because we we essentially just need more people to be able to play at a given time slot. Our alliance is pretty worldwide, which is great for bosses and to be able to be a well-rounded alliance, but it's not great for Battlefield because a lot of our power is kind of in different time zones where it's not easy for them to join Battlefield and stuff like that. So I don't know if extending that to 25 people would help our alliance. It would probably more just help other alliances be able to kill us faster. But whatever. I think it's fun. I think it's a fine change. It's all in the spirit of good fun. So I'm all for that. Uh, I think they talked about server merges. There's going to be more server merges coming. They don't do a good job of kind of saying which servers are going to merge. Uh, I asked uh, I asked specifically, how are they determined? Uh, Elena didn't respond to that. She basically said that it was too complicated to explain. She doesn't understand it. Whatever. Um, Okay, fine. I think it's essentially related to how much people spend and how active the server is, but mostly around spending. If spending dips, I think then that's when they would be considered for a merge. Although I don't know if that always holds true because you have big servers like 12 and whatever come and Jim Sachs Alliance got merged into one server, and they clearly are spending a decent amount of money on both those servers. So probably a lot more than people are spending on my server. And you have like C2 alliances that are definitely spending way more than our server, my server. Like RSP got merged with a different alliance or a different server, brought some power into the alliance and stuff like that. And I mean, honestly, great for them. I think server merges help people have more fun. It's not fun to be on kind of a dead server and not be able to fill rallies and not be able to play the game to the potential that that you can. Um, but I just wish that it would happen for my server. We could definitely use a server merger. So we'll see if that's in the works. Uh, Evony, if you're watching this, please merge my server. But whatever. Uh, and then I think there were kind of similar complaints. Rage King, people complaining about people using alts, people using bots. I think honestly at this point, like the gap is so large that even people using alts and bots and stuff like that are still not in the top are not the top players, because you still have to spend money for the new gear and stuff like that. So uh, I actually think that it's not as much of an issue at the moment as it used to be, because you can't it, it it's very, very difficult to be a top contender if you're not spending a lot of money. And so, um, you know, yeah, uh, yeah. Some people had some very specific concerns. Uh, I I don't know. I think they're less important. Um, I brought up being able to cancel healing. Uh, That still hasn't happened. I don't know. It seems like the easiest thing for them to be able to just add a cancel button to healing. And I guess what I mean is I'll show you. Uh, if you heal, there's an option to speed up, but there's no option to cancel. And so people uh, people will incorrectly heal their entire hospital and stuff like that. And if it's in the middle of all stars and stuff like that, or if they like run out of speeds or something, there's no way to like bring it back and heal a smaller amount. So I think that would be great, but didn't really get a ton of feedback on that. Yeah, overall, I'm not super excited about the progress from this specific uh, players feedback dev meeting, whatever. Uh, it didn't really seem like they had a lot planned in terms of really helping close that gap between the paywall and the kind of the free to play players. Even though a number of players have said our big coiners are quitting because it's too unfair. They're like the game's not fun because they're so far ahead actually. And so yeah, we'll see what they kind of come back with that, but I'm not super excited about what they're going to come back with. It basically seems like they do these meetings to figure out what people need more of, or what people are excited in getting, so that they can figure out what packs to offer, what features to launch uh, that they can make more money out of. So hopefully I'm wrong. We'll see. I'll let you guys know when they kind of release the feedback, and after they've talked to kind of the dev teams, and see what they're actually going to implement, and kind of the relative timelines. Again, I don't those relative timelines are never accurate, but uh, we'll see. I'll show you that when that comes out. But uh, all we can do is hope that they kind of get the message that people are very unhappy with kind of the pay to win way that the the game is going. And it's really just a shame, because I know I really enjoy the game. I know a lot of other people really enjoy the game, and there used to be a lot of skill components to it. But now, I mean, with the massive buffs that you can have, there's less skill involved. It's more just I'm just gonna send I'm just gonna send more troops at the enemy with better buffs, and it doesn't matter if they're built right, or have are countering you or whatever. I'm still gonna win because of that. So, but ultimately, we'll see. We'll see what comes from it. I'll let you guys know, as I said. Let me know what you guys think, and what kind of features you would like to see, so that I guess next dev meeting and stuff like that. Hopefully, they'll start listening, and we'll get a little bit more feedback on what would help to improve the game. And I obviously, I understand it's a business. I understand that they're trying to make money and stuff like that. But they're not going to have a business, they're not going to have a game if they continue to go down this route, because there's just going to be more and more of the small to middle coiners that are quitting, and it won't be as fun for the big coiners to actually kind of play. So we'll see. We'll see kind of what happens. Yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this. What kind of things would you think would help balance the game, or what things could be improved. And yeah, thanks for watching. As always, please remember to like and subscribe. Definitely helps me out a lot. See you in the next video.